Damaris Ferdinand from KalabariTV. I want to ask, firstly, do you think the deputy office being held by Riverine, has it been distorted so far? Has it been changed? Secondly, we all know how our brother Marshall Harry and Graham Douglas worked towards ensuring power rotation, and how we expected that Peter Odley will also do so by facilitating power rotation when it comes to the riverines. So I want to know, since he failed to do so, was it a punitive act or it was something that automatically played out?
Okay. The first question is the deputy in the riverine.
Has it been distorted?
If it has been distorted.
Yes, if it has been changed.
That is what I'm saying now.
Yes.
But of course, you know that there is a deputy existing in the riverine named Dr. Palabo Banigo.
I know that.
Harry Banigo.
Yes.
So that means there is an existing deputy governor,
Yes.
so to say. Even though as a people, you know, we are not happy with such, you know, an appointment by a particular, you want to give deputy governor to the people, you did not ask them of the kind, you know, the quality of person that they wanted. You just pick somebody whom you know that is out of the system, who do not know what are the problems of our people. You know, such a person is not, you cannot just pick any person and say you've gotten a deputy governor. And so we are not worried about that. But we are not looking at deputy or secretary or anything. We are looking at to be at the ends of affairs. We are looking at, as the riverine people, getting also to the brick house. Now, the second question is that what Odeli did, if it is deliberate, or, you know, of course, you can see that with the way things are playing out, at the first and second time, nobody believed that it was deliberate. You know, as a people, we are still believing that we are one Rivers people, and believing that at the end, you know, they will make some corrections. But after Odeli left for mayor, and the mayor did his own part, no matter how brief. Today, the mayor in the brick house, his portrait is there as a governor, and he's earning every right accurate to be a governor. And so Omeya was a governor, and then Chibike Amechi came in taking over. Like I stated, he got the landmark judgment. You know, that gave him that opportunity, and he became the governor, and he served, did his best, and left. We are believing that as at that point, our brothers at the Upland, especially from the Kwere extraction, will understand of that man-to-man, gentleman agreement that we had. It is not an easy task for our own leaders, you know, to prove decency, to prove oneness, you know, because at that point, the leaders of the state, by the time you call other ethnic nationalities, you will call the Kalabari people or the Riverine people. But they came together to say, for them to prove that we want to run an inclusive government, we want to be one Nigeria, one river state, let our brothers from the Upland take a shot first before it comes back to the Riverine people. It is for you to understand how sincere the people of Riverine are. It's so unfortunate that even at that time, the people of the Riverine are the people producing, while Diete-Spiff ruled, when he served as a governor. If you look at my story, I tell you that Diete-Spiff concentrated development in the urban, in Port Harcourt city. Was Port Harcourt, you know, seen as a riverine? No. But majority of the things he did was on the mainland in Port Harcourt. You know, he did everything there. And today we expected that our brothers from the Upland will come and do the same thing by, you know, conceding power to the, you know, to the riverine. This is a marriage. You don't need to be oppressing them. One day they may wake up and say enough is enough, and that is the aspect we don't want, and that is, you know, that is the area we are trying to, you know, avert, and that is why we call on all well-meaning Rivers people to understand what we are saying. We are saying it is true that we are one family, we are one mother, we are one father. But it will not work when only the father or only the mother at this time takes control of everything. Sometimes if the mother takes, the mother will always remember that there is, there is a father somewhere. Or if the father is getting, the father will always remember that there is a wife somewhere. So we want, a collaboration. We want to also have the access to the brick house so that development will also, come from this area to expand the state, so that the state will not be seen as a two city centers anymore. Several city centers will come up. And remember that the riverine has so much value. The riverine, if the riverine develops today, once there are bridges, to connect the riverine communities, development will pop up from there. And of course, in fact, most of the foreigners will prefer to go around the shores, to do their things. And we are talking about adventures. We are talking about tourism. These are the areas where even when you talk about wealth creation, these are the areas that River State or any other state, like now, go to Lagos State, you will see their barbish and other things. These areas generate funds for the state, for the local government areas. And these are some of the things we don't have here. And we are saying that as a people, we need to be one united, and we need to move on together. You don't do the thing as though you are the people who created the state and others are the slaves. That is our case here.
It's a continuation from what he said. Like, I want to draw something from what you said. Like, wanting the riverines to attain the apex level of leadership, right? To be at the helm of affair in the states. So I want to know if actually they are being granted such opportunities, like fate smiles on them. Do you think they putting on ground the glaring needs of the people will actually be their first concern? Will it be their priority because they've attained such level?
So why will one go to attain such level after yearning for or agitating over years, and when he has the opportunity, he cannot? Look, the difference is that we are just like the decency we showed by giving them the first shot to take. If the riverine person still comes to be at the helms of affairs, it will always still distribute, quality projects across a board, even though at this point, everyone will understand that the projects are being, lopsided, and it needs to, to be expanded so that these areas that are looking as though it is never do well will begin to grow, and even this, the state will not see. In fact, we talked about Lagos State here. There is no village in Lagos State as of today. Why? Because all those areas that are like the waterside and other places have been developed. So by the time these areas that are like forest today will begin to be developed, people will begin to see River State as not just a 2 million or 3 million people state. People will know that River State is big, and it will begin to invite, prominent investors outside and, within and outside the countries to these areas to begin to develop on. It will bring economic growth.
Okay, just a quick one in respect to you talking about fostering unity and all of that. If you look at the equaries, they come together and project one person. If SPIRE comes down to the Riverine and Kalabari per se, do you think the Kalabaris have that structure to say this is one person we are projecting, and everybody looks at this person and say this is who we want? Like the equaries who will come together to project one person because they know this branch, this only three will create.
I don't know that. I have never heard where the equaries projected one person. Now, why it happened that way is because the equaries are not the people, trying to cause this disunity. Some particular set of persons who believes that they are fortunate enough to be at the, in a position where they have seen money, they can do and undo. Those are the people who came out to do certain things. Because if you look at the task at the time when Celestine Omeya also contested, it wasn't only him. So there is no time only one man from the Kwere extraction contested. It was only because they knew the rules. They knew that it is for Upland and Riverine. And so at that time, it was meant for the Riverine people. But their son, who believes that he has his connection and whatever, he liked, unknowingly to the Riverine people, that this guy will succeed in what he is doing, which is in Yesowike. He came out and did what he did as against the the laid down arrangement. So now, as a people of River State or the Kalabari, as a people of the Riverine or the Kalabari extraction, we have too many qualified people to be at the ends of affairs. So if today even there are 50 of them comes out, of course it depends on your party. Among the 50 of them, if it is a PDP will not get 2 candidates. PDP will only get only one person to be at the ends of affairs, to be their standard bearer. So once that person is confirmed, of course, others will leave. If other person is fortunate enough to be in to come out in any other platform as as a standard bearer, of course that person will also try his best to see they can also come together to harmonize, or they can also do. That does not stop anyone who wants to succeed from succeeding. The truth is that we wanted only the Riverine people to aspire for this position at this point, so to give equity and just to avert unseen crisis, to avert disunity or breaking the state, because you cannot see me as somebody who produces what it takes to develop our state, and yet you take it to develop your land. He wills down fears no fall. And that is why we are trying to call on every well-meaning Rivers people to see it. And that is why we said it from time. We said, we know that it is not all the Ikwere people that are doing this. We know that it is not all the Upland people that are doing this. There are some persons that knew and respect leadership. There are some persons that respect agreement. What some of the elites of these areas are doing is because they believe that they have the power to themselves and they can do undo. But if you steal everything today and there is a problem or a crisis, where will you secure them? Everybody will be running for their and that is what we are praying for. This thing shouldn't come to play, because we wanted to continue with one Rivers State. If not, what happened in Alfred Diete-Spiff? What happened at that time that informed them to go and start agitating and almost brought anarchy in the state may arise again. So for it not to be, they should do what what can bring peace in the land.